Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the first episode of the CFL Weekly Show on 13th Man Football. A little bit new for 2025. We were part of Canadian Football Fanatics, but we are now on 13th Man Football. It's Shane alongside Coach Phil. First episode of the year. How are you feeling? How was your off season? I know we had a little bit of interactions over the mock drafts we've done, but what have you been up to this winter?
I have been just getting good sleep and getting ready for this long season ahead of us, man. I'm ready for what's ahead of us. This season's going to be outstanding. And I had a long Grey Cup hangover. It took me a while to shake that. But other than that, living, working, dad life, the whole nine, and coaching football, the whole nine.
Totally understand the dad life thing, taking advantage of the downtime. Weather's getting nicer over in Ottawa, so you're out west, right? You're on the coast.
I'm in Seattle, so it's starting to get hot. We had 73 degrees today, so that's way too hot for me already.
Oh, look at that! Look who Blake finally showed up in the back rooms.
Nah,
Uh,
let him in, let him in.
you know what?
Blake?
Someone
Ah.
5 minutes, 5 minutes late on 10 minutes late, eh, Blake?
Yeah, whatever. I can't control traffic.
No, that's true. But I think what's funny is that we chose Monday because you're like, oh, Monday works great for me. I don't know how did you put it in Tuesday?
I have no idea. Well, because no, so what happened was Cole and I were talking yesterday, and then like Cole was like, "Oh, let's do a BC Lions training camp like primer." And he's like, "What day works good for you?" I'm like, "Oh, let's do Tuesday like such and such a time." And then I guess somehow like I got mixed up with like this show and that one, and I'm like, "Wait."
Ah.
So,
All I'm hearing is
anyways,
excuses.
that's exactly what it was. It's 100% excuses.
But hey, it's glad to be doing this again. It was a nice little off season. Um, Coach was just telling us about his off season. How about you, Blake? What have you been up to? I know you've been kind of doing the runs with some of the hockey commentary and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of that, honestly. Like, I think last time you and I talked was like free agency or just after. Cole and I did a show in like March. Well, actually, no, that's not true. We did the draft preview or the mock draft. And yeah, we were talking about Telus Cup and everything like that. So that went down not last weekend or last week, but the week before that. That was a lot. 18 total games that I did over 7 days out of 19 at the tournament. So my team didn't do so great, but overall, it was a pretty good experience. You don't always get to host stuff like that, national championships and all that. So a lot of fun was had. But yeah, most of my off season, especially in the winter months, are spent at the hockey rink.
Yeah, that's the Canadian way to do it, right? Hockey in the winter, football in the summer,
Yep, sounds good to me.
for sure. So today's episode, a draft recap, only like a week or so ago. Free agency, we were talking before we went live, kind of about who we think can do some moves, and obviously some hot takes, some early off season hot takes. Coach, you said you wanted to talk to a couple of teams. Um, so why don't we get started with those? Who did you want to talk about and why?
I love what Ottawa did, and I'm. This might be a really early hot take, so I'm just gonna shoot it out there. But I got Ottawa coming out the East, but we all know, as we talked about before we started, you can't knock it. You can't count out Toronto. Toronto's always going to be the favorite in the East. I mean, even though they had the turnover of the coaching staff and everything like that, they picked up Kevin Brown, which is going to make their running game even more effective. I know that they lost Makai Polk to the Atlanta Falcons, didn't they?
Yeah, I
Was it
believe
Atlanta?
so.
So they still got DeVars Daniels. They still got a bunch of pieces there. The defense is still going to be strong. I'm I'm liking what Ottawa's doing though. I'm very. They picked up Gino. They made some moves. They got Brandon Addison coming back. They got Justin Hardy. They got William Stan back there. Drew Brown's gonna have to tear it up, but I like what Ottawa's going to be doing this year.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is a hot take, but
Uh,
I think, uh, Coach, don't start, man. Don't start.
I didn't
But
say
like,
nothing.
but like, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the BC Lions, and like,
uh,
Ah,
no, no, no,
okay,
no.
to be
Let
fair,
me finish.
to
Let
be
me
fair, I
finish.
definitely thought this was gonna be some like Winnipeg slander,
No, no,
or
it's
some Rough
not.
Rider slander. So I'm like, man, we're not even like 5 minutes into the new season, and you're already slandering these teams.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna pump up my own team's tires. Like, I think that like a lot of the stuff that I've seen during the off season and like free agency and leading up to the draft is like Nathan Rourke's not the same guy as before he left to the NFL. Like, that's true. He's not. He's not going to be the MOP guy that he was in 2022. Like, the numbers that he had that year were like they weren't human until he got injured. Like, you're not going to replicate that, but he's also not going to be as bad as he was last year, like coming back. Like, and I do understand that it has been talked about that, like, he had to go to like 4 different playbooks and stuff like that in the span of a month and whatever, 6 weeks. But like he's had the whole off season. He's known he's gonna be in BC. He knows he's gonna stay here for the next 2, 3 years, whatever. Like I think he realizes that that NFL dream is probably past, and his 100% focus now is on the BC Lions and how he can bring a Grey Cup to BC.
with what defense?
You don't need defense if you outscore your problems.
Bro, what
What?
are you talking?
What are you
When
talking
has
about?
that worked? When in the world has that ever worked in a championship game?
Never.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you.
Look at Toronto. They literally won because I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know how Nick Arbuckle won MOP for the Grey Cup. It should have been McManus, but
Yes.
like Toronto literally defended themselves. Same with Montreal. Their defense won them those championships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you guys
My
haven't needed nobody.
yeah. I
Jackson Finley.
mean, oh my god.
Oh my goodness, this guy already.
Matthew
Look,
Bett's gonna have like 15 sacks in the first like 10 games.
I
Matthew
didn't say
Bett's
that.
revenge tour.
I did not say that.
No,
I
I
mean, we're.
mean
Go ahead.
BC should be decent. I mean, they've acquired some nice pieces, new coaching staff. Should be interesting.
I'm not
But
sold on Buck Pierce. I'm gonna be honest. I'm
oh,
not
I'm
sold
not
on.
either. I
No,
I
yeah, the jury's still out. I mean, he hasn't even coached a game, so that's kind of hypocritical, if you will, to say the jury is still out. But like it literally is. Like I'm not sold on him either.
yeah, I mean, I think his Grey Cup play calling has been questionable.
At best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm worried about what he'll do with that type, like with James Butler and how much they're gonna pass versus how much they're gonna run. But I think the team that like no one is really gonna watch is no one has expectations for is Calgary.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I think like Calgary's that one team where you're expecting them to be bad, but could easily be a top 3 team in the East or in the West. Not East, in the West.
Yeah.
Like you got VA, you have Bagleton, you have Rhymes, um, you have
Mark and
Philpott,
Michelle.
Mark and Michelle. You acquired some guys on defense. Like they could be a scary team this year if VA is VA and doesn't get hurt. Because outside of VA, they don't really have anyone. Like I like PJ Walker, but again, hasn't played a game. And you're gonna come here and say that he'll be able to lead you guys to the playoffs. But I don't know. VA healthy, determined, kind of pissed off. Could be the guy that, I think he could be a sneaky MOP candidate.
I thought it
Yeah.
was. I thought VA was gonna be the guy in BC for another 3-4 years, but he's got to do it in Calgary. I think that on paper, that's a scary ass team. That is a very scary team with the weapons that they got. And they got a strong running game with Dedrick Mills. They don't have Peyton Logan no more, do they? Do they? They don't have, so it's on Dedrick to run the ball hard. He can't get hurt. Injuries is just the biggest thing for that team. That's all it is. Everybody that they have has faced the injury at some point in time. So the jury is out, and we gonna see.
Yeah, and the name that neither one of you guys mentioned is the brother of the former Grey Cup Most Outstanding Canadian, Jalen Philpott, who, when he's healthy, I'm not gonna go as far as to say he's as good as Tyson, but like they're pretty darn close. Like I would argue that they're maybe 1A, 1B. So like if he can stay healthy all season and you get him and Bagleton as a 1-2 punch, like I agree that Calgary could be scary this year.
Is what's his name? Malik Henry? Is that his name? Is he coming
Yep.
back? Oh God, they're so deep at
And
receiver.
you also had in Alfred.
Oh
Got him at number 1.
yeah.
Man, that was a crazy draft. That did not go the way I think anyone expected.
Yeah, I was waiting for us to go there.
I was at TD Place for the draft. I had the pleasure of going down and having a pleasure to listen to Burke and Dice after the first 2 selections, and even after the draft. It sounded like there was no consensus board. Like you look at the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, there's always like, okay, you kind of know who's going 1 through whatever. It seemed like there was none of that with the CFL this year. This seems to be one of the most wide open boards in recent memory.
Yeah, like I think I saw on one of the betting sites, and I don't remember which one, and I wouldn't give them props anyways because I know they're not a sponsor of the show. But I think Alford was like 5,000 to 1 or something like that to be drafted first overall.
Yeah, I think I saw someone tweet out that it was like 32 to 1 odds. Yeah. But like that's still like, I mean, he has the talent, and realistically, he probably doesn't go to if he doesn't go to Utah outside of what happened with Syracuse and maybe goes to another school and has a more productive year, he may even be going to like the NFL. I think people need to realize how good he is. But overall, Calgary is a team to watch. Edmonton is a team to watch. Coach, you were talking.
Say that every year.
I think this year more so than next. They've spent right. They've dolled their team up, right?
Yeah, but how many times does the team that won the offseason actually win the Grey Cup?
Very few. But that's what I'm saying is that they're a team. I'm not saying they're going to be like a good team or they're going to be like Grey Cup favorites. I'm just saying they're a team to watch because on the outside they're all dolled up and nice. Yeah. But if you put a shit engine in a Ferrari, it's just a shit car at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Right? So
but then again, the most complete, and just this is not biased. This is nothing like that. Probably the most complete team is the Riders out west, from top to bottom, complete.
Yeah, I agree. Like I would, as much as I don't want to say it, I would pick the Riders to be the favorites to come out of the West right now.
Thank you.
I mean, I think a lot of it hinges on Trevor Harris, and I don't know how much confidence I have in like a 40-year-old coming off another leg injury. But I mean, hey, your cousin's
yeah, but if he gets hurt, then they have Jake Mayer.
Oh yeah, pick 6 Mayer,
our favorite quarterback,
my favorite cousin. Yeah, hey,
pick 6 Mayer as your QB2.
Hey. Cousin Jake is gonna be in the clutch when we need him the most. If something happened to Trevor, we good.
Hey, don't worry. You're gonna have Curtis Rourke as your quarterback next season. It's fine.
Okay, that was a big surprise to me out of the draft. We picked Curtis Rourke, but also Winnipeg. I'm not surprised Winnipeg went and got a quarterback until Gersma. But just go get him. I didn't have that on my board. Them going to get him.
I was surprised it happened in the 3rd round.
Yeah, no, that's what surprised me as well.
Like I was expecting the minute that he was drafted in the NFL that his stock would drop as like a 5th to 7th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So there must have been some type of conversation with Rourke between Saturday and Tuesday where they felt comfortable that like, hey, maybe if he doesn't make it and with San Fran, he comes up for a year or 2 before he goes tries again down south. But yeah, I mean, I was more surprised that he was picked in the 3rd round than than anything. Because, I mean, the Rough Riders do need a plan.
That's thinking long term. I think that with Curtis Rourke, I, this is gonna be another crazy thing to say, but I wasn't sold on Curtis Rourke. I've never really
That's
been.
fair.
And watching a lot of college football, I just didn't see it. Not knocking him. He's good talent, but he has to be developed. There's things that he has to do,
Hmm.
but it was okay. I did like the pick, the first round pick that we did, Ali Saad. Hey, is that how you say his last name?
Ali
Saad,
Saad, yeah, out of
Ali
Bowling
Saad
Green.
from Bowling. That was a nice move by the gang. I like that one. I didn't see what the hell BC did. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
We didn't have a first round pick.
No, I know that.
No,
I'm just
because they
saying.
decided to overspend the cap and give it to Calgary.
Can we
I
talk?
want to hear your opinions on that. Like,
Yeah.
what
Can
do
we
you guys
talk
think
about
about
that for a
that?
sec?
Because,
Mhm.
Like, I don't mind losing the pick, but how dumb is it that Calgary, like they just get handed the pick? Like, there's no sort of like lottery or nothing. They're just like, oh, BC loses a pick. Okay, we'll give it to the team that picked first overall.
Yeah, well, it's waiver priority. So, like, that's the termination. Like, the term or the wording that is used is waiver priority. So
But they picked
guess.
first already.
I know it's stupid. I think it's a stupid rule. I don't think it's stupid that they lost the pick.
No,
Let's
I
be clear,
agree.
like,
You did it to yourselves.
They should lose
if
the
you
pick.
spend over the cap, then yes,
But it's the
100%.
fact that like another team gains it as like another first and second round pick is just wild.
Shot yourself in the foot. Shouldn't have done all that spending.
But at the same
how'd
time,
that
look at what
work out?
they basically got nothing for VA. They traded VA for
I know.
nothing.
I know.
Pennies on the dollar.
For the ninth pick, and then they lost it anyways.
Yeah, like just some tidy work.
And like even when they made the trade, like you knew you were probably gonna lose that pick.
Yeah, it made no sense. Should have tried getting a pick in 2026 versus another pick in 2025. Made no sense.
None whatsoever.
But I mean, to be fair, that entire situation with Rourke and Adams from the get-go.
Yeah, we talked about the three of us, and of course Cole, who's not able to join us tonight. But like we talked about how much like Campbell and the whole coaching staff bungled last season. Like Rourke should not have been left in as long as he was. Like with your playoff, not necessarily your playoff chances, although at the end of the year they actually were fairly close to missing the playoffs. But for like 95% of the year, they were in a playoff spot. But with your home playoff game chances, and like technically, when Rourke came in the first 2 or 3 games, they still had a shot at first.
Yeah.
Like when Rourke didn't have it, you should have gone back to VA. Like,
yes,
it was pretty obvious that Rourke did not have it. Play out the year with VA. Everybody knows that Rourke signed the contract. They know that VA is getting moved in the offseason. That doesn't matter during the season. Go try and win a Grey Cup, especially when you're hosting the game.
I think
but they banked on it. They banked the entire season on hosting that Grey Cup, and that was going to be the swan song. And I knew that from jump, from Guap. I knew it. But when they didn't play, VA was out the touchdown Pacific game, correct?
Yeah, he was hurt.
Yeah, he was still technically hurt. He was dressed, but he wasn't.
He was dressed as the emergency third string. His first game as official backup to Nathan was, I believe, the game where they won in Montreal.
Yeah, wasn't that like week 14 or 15?
Yeah, it was Labor Day weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think they fumbled that. But who could really handle that situation out of all teams? Nobody. You don't really know what to do in that situation unless you're in
Campbell's done it before. He had Henry Burris and Trevor Harris in 2016
when they won the Grey Cup in Toronto.
Henry Burris went out with an injury. Trevor Harris came in as a backup. Trevor Harris. I mean, I know it's a little different because you brought Nathan Rourke in, you paid him the money, whatnot. But at the end of the day, like you had Henry Burris in, he got hurt. Trevor Harris came in, played really well, Burris came back. Trevor Harris got hurt. Then you put Burris back in. But like, you've been through it as a head coach before. You should know that, like, yeah, the team rallied around Trevor, but like that was still Burris's team.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't have justified keeping Burris on the sideline and have Harris as the starter just because Burris got hurt. It should have been the exact same thing. And it should have been handled. And you already handled it before. You handled it when you had Rourke. You traded for Vernon Adams, and then Rourke became the starter when he came back from injury. Should have been the exact same situation. Cool, Rourke, you're going to come in. We're going to have you as a starter, but this year it's VA's team.
Yeah,
correct.
We'll address 2020, 25 in the offseason. You should have just been straight up with him. Be like, 2025, 2024, it's VA's team. 2025, we'll address it after 2024. But he's been here all year. He's led us to our record. You're coming in because he's hurt. He's not losing the starting spot. It's not simple. And you talk to them like men. You're like, hey, this is the situation. This is how we're going to address it. And if neither quarterback want to deal with it maturely, that's on them.
Yeah.
No, you put it on. That's simple.
Nathan even admitted that. Like, I was on, and I know you guys are both going to laugh at me, but like the Arrow Up series, like I watched, so of course there was 6 episodes. I watched 5 of them when they first came out. And then like I missed the 6th episode. So literally last week I went back. I'm like, I need to watch this. Because like mainly because the new season is starting now and like I wanted to get caught up and blah blah blah. So I went back and like when Vernon came in for that Montreal game, the regular season finale, they cut to a clip / interview of Nathan, and Nathan literally said to the camera, like, VA deserved that opportunity to finish what he started. He was the starter at the beginning of the year. He goes, he deserves that opportunity to finish the year. He's like, I was brought in, it didn't work out. He almost basically admitted that VA should have been brought back as the starter sooner than he was.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. Like, if you're Campbell, you look at the money that was spent on Rourke, you look at the experience and whatnot, you're probably, okay, cool. You've seen what he's done before, you're like, okay, put him in. Should be a pretty simple transition. It wasn't. And it's no disrespect to Rourke either. Like, let's be real. I don't think anyone, no matter if you're Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Warren Moon, asking a quarterback to learn 4 playbooks in like a month and a half and to be effective going from one league to another within like 3 days of practice isn't realistic, no matter how good you are or how good you think you are.
No.
Like, it's not how it works. Like, the reading and all that, it's all different. So like the expectation of him being able to come in and put up his 2022 numbers was unrealistic. I think he'll be closer to it this year. Like, I personally think those 2022 numbers are well within his reach if he wants them. But I don't know. I feel like that entire situation could have been handled so much better if I don't even know why it wasn't. Like, I can't even think of a reason why you fumbled the situation so bad. Like, unless it comes out and says like Domar, which I really have trouble with believing, unless Domar's telling you to play him because he just spent all this money. But I don't feel like he's that type of owner.
No, like Amar wants to win. He would, if at all, and I don't think he's this type of owner. Like, I don't know him personally. I've met him very briefly. I've somewhat shook his hand, but like he would just go to the coach and be like, play who gives us the best chance of winning. Like, he cares about winning. Because he's a smart man. He knows, especially in this city. Like, you kind of know this as well, Shane, being where you live. Like, but I honestly say Vancouver is the most fickle sports market ever. It's
been to Ottawa.
It's true. If you're winning, people will show up. If they're losing, people have other things to do here. They do not care. Like, they're like, show me a winner and I'll show up. But if you show me a loser, I will spend my hard-earned money somewhere else.
It's just like Seattle. Seattle is the exact same way. If we're winning, the city is booming. outside of the Seahawks, like it's support the Seahawks through and through, no matter what. But I remember the days when shit you could put tickets on a windshield and nobody would pick it up. I mean, it's that fickle. But Vancouver, at speaking into the situation, and then we can move on. I'd say I'm more pissed off because that offense was so tailor made for Vernon.
Yeah.
It was so right for him, and
Yep.
hopefully he has success in Calgary with Dave and them. Excuse me, but I don't know. They fumbled it. They fumbled it bad.
No,
I
they
mean,
100%
I think
did.
I don't even want to say like markets are finicky because like at the end of the day, the only things fans can control is buying tickets, right? Like that's the only type of control. So like if you're spending money on a losing team, you're giving no one incentive to actually go build a winner.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I won't even say it's a knock when you say, oh, our market's like they'll support a winner, they won't support a loser. Well, yeah, it means that you need to go out and put out a productive team, like a competitive team year in or like year out. Because like people are going to spend their money elsewhere if they're not going to go. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't go to a lot of Suns games when they were garbage over those 8 years because I have other things to do for 3 hours, and I'm not going to spend $150 to go spend 3 hours watch my team lose, right? Like,
and that's like that's the NHL. Like the Canucks, like they just like they're like, oh, we missed the playoffs. Let's increase season ticket prices 15%. And it's like,
Jesus.
yeah, like I
like
just
people are still buying season tickets though. That's exactly why they can do it.
yeah, because they know
Because
people are willing to spend it.
fans are gonna do it. Fans are gonna buy tickets because it's the only outside of the BC Lions, the only game in town. And now you guys just got
Yep.
what was it? PWHL. You guys
PWHL.
just got that.
You
You
should be
know,
excited about that, eh, Blake?
I'm
I'm
very
excited for that.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're also
Already
getting
put
one in
my
Seattle.
deposit for season tickets.
Yep, we just got one. I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, I mean Ottawa's been a great atmosphere. Like the games are so much fun.
I believe it. Can't wait to
Well,
experience
the
it.
game, the takeover tour that like we had at Rogers this past year, like officially sold out Rogers. It was higher attended than any Vancouver Canucks game all year.
And I believe it. Like I mean, Ottawa has a great market for it. Everyone loves like the charge. So, like I think we're on pace to like we should have finished the year kind of top two in attendance this year. So like it's a great atmosphere. If you're listening to this, I know it's a little hockey interruption, but like go check out a chart. Like go check out a PWHL game if you're
Please do.
in a market. Like it's
No,
so much
seriously,
fun.
Like all three of us now have teams in our market. Like I just said, like I already put my deposit for season tickets. Like it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, like
Wow.
like Kaylee loves it. Like my daughter, she loves it. She gets so excited when they're on the TV. Ask her what she wants to be. She wants to be a charge player. So I'm like, you know what? That's great. You know what? That's exactly what these leagues are for. So like, go out and watch a game. Go out and actually enjoy the atmosphere of a game. But going back onto the football side of things, new commissioner.
Stuart Johnson.
Probably should address that. 30 minutes into the show, we should probably address the new commissioner.
Whatever.
Stuart Johnson, former president or vice president of TSN. I have a question for you guys. Randy Ambrosi. What? I know where I'm gonna go with this. I want to know where you guys are gonna go. Where do you put him? Where do you put his legacy? Like, if you're gonna rate it like 1 out of 10, and do you think that he was criticized too harshly for what he's done during his tenure?
Coach, you want to go first?
I mean, he was in a lose-lose situation. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. He tried, and he did. He uplifted the game a little more notoriety, more eyes on the game, opportunities and stuff like that. I ain't got no qualms with him. I ain't got no issues with how Randy did things. Was he not the most like charismatic or the most like outside? Like for me, my benchmark is like Adam Silver with the NBA and Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell gets so much hate, but that man brings in money and sponsors and everything. Adam Silver, player friendly. The players run the league, but the players get paid so much damn money, but they're marketable. My only thing with Randy Ambrosie is he kind of made it more accessible for players to be marketable, but is you love him or you hate him? I don't know. Blake, what you think?
I mean, like, I'll disagree with that just for the simple fact that, like, I'm indifferent on him. I mean, like, I lean towards, I guess, love him, but that's more so personal reasons than it is like Commissioner Randy Ambrosie. So, like, I think he did do some good things for the league. He obviously could have done better, but I think you have to ask yourself, did he leave the CFL in a better place than he found it? And I would agree that he probably did. Like, Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that he 100% left the league better than when he found it in 2017. I think for him, the biggest knock on him was probably COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think how the 2020 season played out.
Well, the fact
Really,
that there was.
yeah, there wasn't one, and like, I think it really, and then 2021 it was only 14 games. I think it really soured a lot of people's opinions on him. And I mean, I think there were some people that hated him from the get go, but I think overall, you look for what he did in 27 when he took over in 2017, 18, 19, everything was progressing. 2020 was looking like it was going to be like the best year to be a CFL fan. And that's kind of where it was going after 2019. And then COVID happened. And you can't really fault anyone for that. And then it kind of hit a wall in 2020. And then you got 2021. And it's starting to pick up steam after 2022. But I mean, you can't. He has stable ownership in 4 markets.
Yeah.
And 3 of them that didn't have stable ownership before him. Like you have stable ownership in Montreal,
Toronto, and Montreal.
Stable Montreal, BC, and Vancouver, and then you've got Edmonton finally going private.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So like,
and I mean the thing about, like, sorry to cut you off, Shane, but the thing about that 2020 season that, like, I will agree, Randy deserves, whether you want to call it more hate or deserved hate than he already gets, is that every other league, like even a league that, coach, like, I don't know if you have an opinion on this, but Shane, I know you will. Even a league that's on a lesser scale than the CFL, in the CBL, the Canadian Basketball League, was able to find a way to have a bubble season, and the CFL couldn't figure something out. Like, whether it was, I don't know, Saskatchewan, Toronto, do what all the other leagues did, get the necessary medical professionals and the testing and all that, get the government seal of approval if that's what you needed to, put them in a bubble, and even if we just watch the games on TV, there needed to be a way for the CFL to play games that year.
See,
everybody.
I don't even blame Ambrosie for that, because I think the league, the owners didn't want to lose money, right? Because the league is so gate driven. If you
but
play
like I just said, the CBL, who makes less money.
Yeah, but they also pay a lot less money, and you have a roster size of like 15.
True.
And you have one ownership group. I think there's only like 3 owners in that entire league right now.
Yeah, something like that.
So like it's a little bit different than having 9 teams and 9 different owners trying to agree that, like, okay, we'll have this season and we're going to take massive loss. Like, not even like a small loss. They would have taken a massive loss.
Huge.
Well, and at that time, like, Montreal didn't have that stable ownership that we talked about.
And neither did
the Elks
Vancouver.
were still public. The Lions didn't have Amar.
So like to take a little bit of blame off of Ambrosie. Like, I know he's the commissioner, he's the face of the owners. Like, that's just kind of how it is. But like the owners, if the owners don't want to lose money, there's nothing that you can do as a commissioner to force them to lose money.
Nope.
But I think people forget, like, it looked like heading into 2020 is that that was the closest they had to an expansion.
Yep.
Like, there was a serious group out east There was serious conversations about getting that stuff up and running, and then COVID happened. Yeah, I honestly, and this might be a hot take, and some people might disagree, and that's fine. But I think if COVID doesn't happen, we're entering the third year of a 10-team CFL league.
I would probably agree.
I think 2022 they would have hit, even if it's a temporary Moncton Stadium where they had Touchdown Atlantic before, probably aim for like 17,000 fans. You're entering the third year of football out east with 10 teams in the league. Yeah, I think that's just the way. And then, you know, he would be considered one of the best commissioners the CFL has ever had.
Yep. No, he would have been because he brought that 10th team.
Yeah, he would have been there with Mark Cohen, who brought Ottawa back, and then would have been able to kind of cement himself as being able to finally get that 10th team in the league out east. But I'm interested to see what Johnston can do, and what his relationship with TSN and his job description with TSN, and what he's done with TSN, how that will impact the CFL going forward.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. Like everyone talks about, and Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, but the rights, they're not up after this year, but it's next year, right?
2026, end of 2026. So they have 2 years.
So
I think they can.
This coming season that's about to kick off, and then next year.
So my understanding is that it ends at the Grey Cup of 2026.
Okay.
But they can renegotiate
after
this year.
Okay. So
they can start negotiations this year.
Yeah. So I think that is going to be the biggest thing because, like, we got. Let's not forget for a moment, we got the CFL on CTV last year. And if, like, unless I'm missing something, both of you can correct me, but that hasn't been announced for this year, has it? Like, do we know?
No, they're expecting it. I think it's going to be, like, from September onwards again.
Yeah. Makes sense. But then would they have to... Did they build that into the schedule this year? Because I remember last year when it was announced, games had to get moved around to fit that time slot that they'd given them.
I think it's been built in, but my understanding is that they should be back for in September, like Labor Day, like the week after Labor Day. Let me see if I can find a game. Yeah, because so there's 3 p.m. games again. So it starts week 15, September 13th. It's Edmonton at Toronto is a 3 p.m. start. The following week, it's Winnipeg at Ottawa, Hamilton at Winnipeg, Hamilton at Toronto.
Yeah, okay.
Basically from September onward, or from the week after Labor Day onward, there's a 3 p.m. game every Saturday, which I am assuming is the CFL on CTV. And even the East Finals at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. So I'm assuming those are going to be the CFL on CTV games.
Yeah, no, I would agree. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Like, I would think that, especially with his past, TSN would maybe have the inside track of getting the rights through another contract. But I also wouldn't count out Rogers or CBC getting the rights from TSN, because especially with him being the commissioner now, like, he cannot play favorites. And let's not forget, the Rogers just paid like an insane amount of money for the NHL rights for the next like 11 years or whatever it is. They pay an insane amount to just get exclusive Blue Jays games. Like, it would be honestly smart of Rogers to just steal all sports. Like, if they take the CFL from TSN, all TSN would have left is the World Juniors and regional hockey games. That would basically...
And they have the NFL.
And the NFL, correct. But
I mean, my thing is I want them to do more with CFL Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want, like...
Especially we have a perfect guy sitting with us, like Coach Phil lives down in the States.
But like, even make it in something where like you can access film like the NFL does. Put I know you can go out, and I think they still have all their old Grey Cup games available to watch. But it makes CFL Plus where like even if you have I think the CBL did it perfectly in my opinion.
Yep.
You had 3
CBL
tiers.
Plus.
You had CBL Plus, which was free. You're able to still watch the games and able to enjoy like regular content. And then they had
I watch almost all the Bandits games.
Yeah, and then you had CBL. I think it was like premium or something for like $10, and then they introduced like a exclusive, which gives you more stuff than ever before for like $40 or $30 a month. It's something crazy, but it's a lot of content. Like if you bring in that for CFL Plus, I guarantee you're going to get people to buy in, not just in the States, but it's going to be in Canada. It's going to be globally. You're going to have people who are like, you're going to have guys like, ourselves that love looking at stuff like film and reactions and stuff like that. That would be great. Give more access to that type of content and people will flock to it if it's quality and updated properly.
Yes.
Don't be like the draft and have your draft tracker crash.
I was just going to bring that up. I was going to say the key with that is you have to make sure that it runs properly because you had teams spoiling their draft picks basically 2 rounds ahead of what the CFL draft tracker was.
Yeah. I mean, the TSN tracker was also pretty bad.
Yeah, well, TSN only carries the first 2 rounds to begin with, but...
Yeah, then it goes to TSN Plus, and then... But the picks go so quickly after the 3rd round.
It's the same in, like, the NHL and stuff like that, too. Like, after basically the first round, they could do the rest of the draft for the rest of that entire night.
Yeah, basically. They just don't do it. But... I don't know. I mean, I think I'm excited to see what he does. I'm excited to see if he goes on tour again and kind of hits every Canadian city to see a game. Because that's what I will say about Ambrosi. He was at almost every game, every single year. I don't know how many times I ran into him on the concourse in Ottawa during his tenure as commissioner.
Yeah, he was there a lot in Toronto too, because of course that's where CFL offices are.
Yep.
Like I don't know. I think Johnson's going to be an interesting one. He has a lot of work ahead of him. The contract's huge. That next TV contract is massive because I think there's a clause in the CBA that allows them to start renegotiating after that, like in 2026. Like I think it's signed till 2028, but I think there's an out clause in 2026 based off the TV deal.
Yeah, which would make the most sense. Like the players... if the CFL itself is getting more money, then the players that actually play the game should be getting more money as well.
Oh, 100%. You got something to say, Coach? It looks like you were trying to say something.
No, I had to clear my throat.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, this league has a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Season's around the corner. Preseason's like 2 weeks away with the Stampeders opening it up on the 19th. What are you guys looking for out of your respective teams? So, I mean, Coach, you can pick whatever of your like 5 that you're rooting for this year. But of your respective teams, is there anything that you guys are looking for come training camp? Training camp's opening up this week. Is there anything that you guys are looking for? Positional battles, player progression, anyone popping out, or anything that like fans should look forward to?
Yeah, I'll go first, I guess. Like I'm there's kind of 2. Like I was one's the draftee that the Lions picked, and I mentioned him earlier, half tongue in cheek, but like I'm interested to see how Jackson Finley responds to being in a professional training camp. Like he was projected a little higher, probably closer to the end of the first round, beginning of the second round, compared to where the Lions, who traded up to get him, I should mention, they traded up with the Argos, got him at 16. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. Another season of Christophe Beaulieu, stuff like that. Obviously, we talked enough about Nathan Rourke. Like, we don't really need to rehatch that. That's obviously going to be the biggest storyline for the Lions. But can Justin McInnes, like, that's a name that can he repeat what he did last year? Like, obviously, and I'm being realistic. Obviously, he's not going to start the year with like 800 yards in 5 games or whatever silly number that was. But like the fact that people were bashing him kind of towards the end of the year. They're like, you're not putting up the numbers you were at the beginning of the year. Well, of course not. The guy had two 200-yard games. He had a 250-yard game. Like, if you looked at the stats at the end of last year, he was still putting up games of like 8, 9 catches for 120 plus yards. He just wasn't doing as well as he was at the beginning of the year because he was dealing with a new quarterback. It wasn't VA slinging him the ball anymore. And B, the Lions were losing games. They weren't winning the games that they were winning at the start of the year. And C, teams went over to him. Like they knew that he was going to be the go-to guy. So they started covering him better. But it's not that he fell off a cliff. He just wasn't having those ridiculous games that he was having at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I'm curious on how he lives up to his contract.
Yeah.
Like, what would you think is like for McInnes? What do you think is his like? Look at what you paid him. What do you think he needs to reach? Like, what do you think an acceptable stat line would be for McInnes?
I think he's the number one receiver, like without question. He has to be the number one receiver, is how I should put it. He has to be the number one receiver for Nathan Rourke. 1,000 yards should almost be a given. So I would say, I don't know, like the leading receiver in a year is probably what, 1,300, 1,400 yards?
I'd conservatively.
So I would say, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Let's go like he at least needs 1,300 yards to live up to that contract.
I think that's doable. I mean, he has the game-breaking ability. Coach, what about you? What are you thinking of the Rough Riders? What do you want to see?
I want to see the defense. I want to see can they duplicate the magic that they had last year. But the one player that I'm interested in seeing how they fit in with the unit is Mike Rose. I think he can
Yeah.
be an anchor. I think he can definitely be the unsung hero of that defense, anchoring the front line, holding it down against the run game, but also being a disruptor when it comes to getting to the quarterback. That's all I can see is can the defense now I would say up the ante a little bit on their match that they had last year.
Yeah, and similar to Justin McInnes for me is can Roland Milligan duplicate his success from last year?
MOP.
Like, yeah, no, I like we don't need to rehash that. He
No,
100% was the MOP, and for him to not even be nominated was such a slap in the face.
go
It,
get it
it, wa-
this
it
year.
was like it was like the CFL retroactively was like felt bad that they didn't give it to Brady for the year before
Thank you.
2023. So they're like, oh shoot, now we got to give it to Brady this year.
I'm not even mad that like Bo was nominated and like Brady shouldn't have been the finalist for the West.
No, like Bo probably deserved it from the East, even though he was on a team that didn't make the playoffs. But like, yeah, Brady just no. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he put up some really good numbers. I think he had over 12,000 rushing yards and like 1,200 rushing yards
Yeah,
and
but they
like
weren't rolling Milligan numbers. That's just it.
well, I think that's the thing is that like what do you consider MOP for the position that they're playing? Like, is
And the fact
leading
that,
the
but
interception?
it's not even just that Roland Milligan was doing it from the linebacker position. He was playing on special teams and contributing as well.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, is leading the league in interceptions, having one of the highest tackles like numbers for a DB on defense and special teams, not like MOP
Yes,
numbers.
it should be.
Like I know people's argument is like, oh, they don't have an offensive player award. I don't care. That's not the
Who
award.
cares?
The award is most outstanding player. It's not the MOOP. It's not the most offensive or outstanding offensive player.
I was
It's
just gonna
the
say,
MOP.
like, rehatching an argument from last year. Like
it's so frustrating though, because the league just keeps shooting itself in the foot.
if
It's
you
like,
want a Moop Award, literally create a Moop Award. Most outstanding offensive player,
and you can name
and
it
then
like
have
the Anthony.
most outstanding player.
You don't even need to call it like the most outstanding offensive player. I also think they should start awarding like names to these trophies.
Yes.
Like literally call it the Anthony Calvillo Award for the most offensive, the best offensive player. Name it like, I mean, I don't even know who you would name it off defense. There's been so many like greats that have come through.
I don't know, the Chip Cox Award.
Yeah, like
to throw out a name.
Yeah, just like start naming these awards. Put
like
some
the special teams. Name it. I don't know, Louis Pasaglia Award. Like
yeah,
or the Chad Owens Award.
Yep.
Because man, that guy was a freak, flying Hawaiian.
The Brandon Banks Award. Remember how good he was
in
his early days?
On the sideline? That would be the most tantrums on the sideline, right? We're not getting that. I mean, he was great. Don't get me wrong, but I think he has a higher highlight reel of him throwing tantrums on the sideline than him having explosive plays.
The fact that he refused, literally refused to go back into that Grey Cup game in 2014, which was my first Grey Cup, after the punt return got called back. I like Speedy B. I've met him a couple times, but that sums up his career kind of, honestly. Like the Tiger Cats, you still had a chance to win the game. Whether the punt got called back or not, you're at the 55-yard line, basically midfield, on the last play of the game, and the fastest guy on the field normally refused to go back in the game.
Yeah, that was wild. To be fair, I think, that block in the back was a little chintzy.
Yes, but and by letter of the law, it's a block in the back. But I will always argue, and none of us here are Ticats fans, but I will always argue that block was so unnecessary because he was already around the corner.
Thank you.
You did not need to touch him. Brandon was already around the corner.
The angle was not necessary. He had it. It was gone.
Yeah, if social media was big,
don't touch him.
Yeah, if social media was bigger in 2014, people would have been calling that a rigged. It would have been rigged. You bet against the Ticats, and you wanted to cash in, so you made this stupid play. That would have been all over Twitter, and we all know it. That would have literally been the storyline. Did Hamilton throw the game? I don't know. I feel bad for Hamilton. I'm not gonna lie. You've been to the Grey Cup.
When was it? 90 was the last one?
99.
99.
90 was the Bombers before they won. So 99, yeah.
Danny McManus winning that one.
Going on 26 years without a Grey Cup. And they've been to 4, and they've had heartbreak in 3 of them.
They've all been to the last 10 years. Because it was 2014.
2013.
2013 in Saskatchewan.
And they had no chance against that Saskatchewan team. That Rough Riders team was just nasty.
And then 2019, when the Bombers broke their drought, and then the home Grey Cup. So
and they went to overtime.
4 in the last 12 years they've been to, and they haven't won any of them.
Yeah, I honestly I know we have kind of the number one Hamilton hater in this, and Coach Phil.
Hamilton.
I feel bad for their fans because their fans are pretty nice.
They are.
They're some of the nicest fans.
I will shout out just quickly. We don't have to divulge into this, but I've been dealing with some stuff mentally and stuff like that, and actually a buddy that I met a few times at Grey Cup, Corey, who's a big Hamilton fan, reached out to me, and he's like, dude, he's like, if you ever need to talk, he's like, just send me a DM, and I don't even have to message back. He's like, I'll just listen.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, that's a good little segue into right before we finish off. It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
In May. So nice little segue into that. If you are struggling with anything, there are resources to help out. June is Men's Mental Health, so back-to-back important months for mental health. Make sure you take care of that. Because you can't take care of your body if you're not taking care of your head. That's very true for all of it. But before we go, shorter episode than we'll probably have in season. We don't have Cole here jumping around like a jackrabbit. We love you, Cole. We wish you were here. What are some of your hot takes? Give me your hottest takes to start. You were starting the year off.
Okay. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna be the homer, and I'm not gonna go Lions. But I will continue my trend of hating on Winnipeg. The Bombers missed the playoffs this year, and the Riders win the Grey Cup.
Riders winning the Grey Cup is a hot take. I think it's a bigger hot take than Winnipeg missing the playoffs. Coach, you got one? Or are you still thinking over there?
I got one. I got Hamilton starting out 0-5.
Again.
There goes Scott. I don't really know.
But seriously, so Shane, can you pull this up? What's their schedule for the first 5 games?
I have the schedule open. So you got week 1. It's Hamilton in Calgary. They're the Saturday night game.
So that's week a rematch of week 1 last year.
Yeah. Week 2, their home opener is against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Okay. So
they have a bye week 3. Week 4, it's the Montreal Alouettes heading down to Hamilton. Week 5, Hamilton is on to Toronto. And then week 6, it's the short week with only 3 games. We have Ottawa heading down to the Hammer.
So, honestly, I don't know if that's that much of a hot take, Coach. Other than the Calgary game, and we already talked earlier in the episode that, Calgary, especially with VA, could be, a sneaky kind of sleeper team. I would almost call it, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll backtrack a little bit, but, it's definitely possible. I was going to say it might even be realistic, but it's definitely possible that Hamilton starts 0-5.
Yeah, if you start 0-5, that you gotta say goodbye to Scott Milanovic, right? I'm not crazy in this.
No, you're not.
At that point, if you're 0-5 just like last year, I don't think Milanovic is enough. Don't you have to I think at that point it doesn't matter how good or bad Bo's playing. Don't you have to sit him? You got to change something, and it can't. Especially after last year, I don't think it can just be the GM.
I think that with Milanovic, it's so. I'm not a big fan of Milanovic, as you all know. I just I don't see it. I don't get it. I really, really don't. So if they start out maybe 0-6, it could be 0-4. 0-4, let that man go. Let that man go. And if it's going to come down to Bo and that defense, because they pride themselves on their defense.
Yeah, and they've definitely added to their defense this year. They've tried to make it a vocal point of upgrading, but I think my hot take, or one of my hot takes for this season, is it actually kind of revolves Hamilton. I think Bo ends up in Saskatchewan by week 10. And Hamilton dives right into Powell being number 1. And Bo leads the Roughriders to a Grey Cup with a win over Calgary in one of the playoff games.
I thought you were gonna say in the Grey Cup, and I'm like, does Calgary cross over then? Like,
No, I think if they struggle, if Hamilton struggles, no matter how well Bo is playing, you have to go to Powell.
well, that's just it. Yeah.
And I have confidence issues in Trevor Harris and Jake Mayer and whoever else they have in their quarterback room being able to lead. You can't waste this team. Like
No.
Hamilton, that team is too good to waste on a pick six, 150-yard quarterback and a 40-year-old, often injured quarterback. I would not be shocked if Hamilton's season goes sideways that Hamilton trades him to Saskatchewan for the year.
That's wild.
I mean, that's definitely hot. Like you said it was a hot take. So that's pretty that's pretty burning hot. But
that's scolding.
And like, don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not even gonna be mad about it. But if you're Hamilton, it doesn't make sense to keep Bo, right? You did the same thing with Butler, and it made no sense to keep Butler when you kind of decided that he was no longer part of the team.
Yeah.
And if you're Saskatchewan, if Harris does get hurt and Mayer isn't winning games, you can't waste this team. Like, the team is too good to waste on a mediocre quarterback.
Y'all gonna stop disrespecting my cousin like that, man, for real.
Man, if he goes out and balls, I'll eat my words. I will gladly eat my words if he goes out and balls and puts up, 300 plus yards every game with like 3+ touchdowns.
He can. He's capable of it. It's just,
Coach, I will make you a promise right now on what's today, May the 5th.
May 5th.
If the Riders make the Grey Cup with Jake Mayer as their quarterback, I will go around Winnipeg for that entire week in a Jake Mayer jersey. It's a Calgary jersey, but it's a Jake Mayer jersey.
I can live with that. Because cousin Jake, y'all just, why do people give cousin Jake such a hard time? He really ain't that bad.
No, he's not.
He was just on a dog.
His stat line's horrible. His stat line's horrible. And production as a quarterback, I don't even care about the win-losses. I don't even care about the production from a quarterback. If you're consistently putting up under 200 yards passing, is a problem.
Okay.
If you have more interceptions than touchdowns, consistently, it's a problem.
Okay, Nick Arbuckle has ruined it for everybody where any quarterback can come at any point in time and win a Grey Cup. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but Nick Foles did it first. Nick Foles did it first.
Yeah, Nick Foles did. I give it to you. Nick Foles did.
What happened? He went off to be a starter and flamed out. He wasn't a starter.
Look.
All I'm saying is if Jake Mayer can go out and hopefully, let's be real. Hopefully Jake Mayer doesn't see the field, because if he does see the field, it means Trevor Harris is either crapping the bed or is hurt. I'm never going to sit here and wish injury on somebody.
Never.
Like, if Jake Mayer does see the field and he's putting up 300 plus yards and he's putting up 2+ touchdowns every game, I will sit here and eat my words and be like, I was wrong.
He's had some good games. He had that one game against us when he was in Calgary where he put up some solid numbers. He has it in him. It's just damn, cuz, like,
consistency.
Damn.
When you're more consistent at putting up under 200 yards and more interceptions and touchdowns, it's a problem.
But with the Riders, do we really need him to be a gunslinger? Do we really need him with the run game we got?
We need him to put at least 200 yards up on the stat sheet.
But what does that say about, is that him or is it his receivers that couldn't catch the ball?
Both.
It's a little bit of both.
Okay, so it can't just all go on Jake. Jake is capable.
But it's consistency, right? Like, at some point, if you put up like 3 straight games of 300 yards, is that on your receivers or on the quarterback?
Say that again.
If you were to put up 3-4 straight games of 300 plus yards with 3+ touchdowns, is that receiver or quarterback? Who are you giving the props to?
Ooh, I would throw context in that, but all right, you give it to the receivers. You look
at the stat line, if you just look at the stat line, and he's like 300, and he's like 23 for 27, 3 touchdowns.
Consistency and efficiency is the 2 things I pride myself on, so I can't knock you for that.
Exactly. Like, just go out. Even if he puts up like 250 and like 2 touchdowns, he doesn't need 300 yards, but you got to do more than 2 in this league. This isn't the NFL where you can throw. We don't need a game manager in the CFL where you throw for 150 yards and run the ball the rest of the time.
No.
You need to be able to move the ball downfield, and that was his problem in Calgary last year.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some injury issues there with the receivers. If he can go out this year and ball out, I'll eat my words.
I just need Cuz to drop 215, maybe 220, cup 2 tutties. I can live with that. I can live with. That's all I need.
Consistently, right?
Yeah.
He's got to put up 200 plus yards consistently, and I won't say shit. My mouth will be sealed.
Because I'll be talking, but I think this might be a hot take. This might be a sick ass hot take to make, but I think honestly, I think they'll bench Trevor and start Cuz, and he'll do better than Nathan Rourke.
That's scolding.
I'm and not because I'm caping for Cuz. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
No, just watching. It's not knocking Trevor. It's just it's that middle of the season where Trevor starts to kind of go, I don't know, where he's kind of shaky, and we got to play out east. He gets shaky. I think Jay can come in and play better than Nathan, and he could lead us. That's just me.
I don't know if he'll lead you the rest of the year, but like I could see that happening because the last 3 years especially, and like the Riders were lucky it happened when it did last year, but like they go on a stretch of at least 5 or 6 games where they can't seem to get a win, and like something needs to change during that time.
It's after LDC. It's always after LDC where we just hit this wall where we're not explosive no more. That's one thing I want to see from this offense this year is we need more explosive plays. We can't just dink and dunk all day. I feel like that's all we've done with Trevor, especially in the West Final. It was dink and dunk. We had no explosion.
That's because that's what Trevor's good at.
Well, man, look at Cousin Jay. Cousin Jay was slinging wee everywhere on us. So it's possible. I'm not saying he needs to be a world beater, but I think, yes, he will be the starter.
Yeah, I mean, I believe
I would agree that at some point this year he'll be a starter. I just don't know when.
I give it
or
week
for
10.
How long?
Week 10.
So before LDC?
Yeah.
That's pretty hot.
No, because I mean that makes sense. Like they have they have a week 10 bye. Okay, so here's the thing: they have a week 10 bye.
So week 11, but anyways, go on.
So their first, let's go. So they open the season. They're against Ottawa at home. That game can go either way. I'm just gonna put that out there. That game should go either. That's a toss up between either or. Week 2 they play Hamilton. That should be a win. Based off what's on paper, should be a win. Then they play Toronto. Another toss-up game, in my opinion. They play BC. Another toss-up, given where the teams are on paper. Then they have a week 5 bye. Then they play Calgary. That should be a win. Then they play BC again. Another toss-up. Then they play Edmonton. You should be able to beat Edmonton, in my opinion. I mean, on roster, it's a toss-up. But based off history, that should be a win. And then they play Montreal. If they go 2-6, 3-5, whatever it is over that time span over the first 9 weeks where they play 8 games,
the Riders are too good for that. But anyways,
way too damn good.
They are. That's what I'm saying though. Is that if they stumble and they're in a losing record,
I'm tracking.
And the offense isn't producing. Yeah, you throw Mayer in at week 10 or week 11. You put him in for your week 10 bye. You come back. He's your starter heading into week 11. I think it's very reasonable to expect that like Mayer starts week 11, depending on how the season starts for Saskatchewan.
Give him a week to get everything installed, find the plays that work for him. I can say it's real. It might be hot. It's scalding hot, but it's realistic.
Yeah, I mean, if you're making a quarterback change, that's the time to do it. Because they're coming out and playing Hamilton at home. And then they play Calgary on the road the next 2 weeks.
Because if Shea Patterson, no, not knocking Shea, like his father, they're people. But if Shea Patterson can beat Winnipeg in LDC, and it's possible Jake could do it too.
Well, that's the thing. You're not making that quarterback change heading into Labor Day weekend. If you're making that quarterback change at all, you're going to do it before a bye week, or you're going to do it after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Like, you're not throwing it at Labor Day where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this Labor Day weekend. You're going to go into Winnipeg and win when we're having a losing record and our offense isn't doing anything. That's just putting out your dog for, like, it's putting the pig to slaughter.
Take a chance.
I mean, that there's taking a chance and then taking a miracle.
Like, what you think?
I think it's realistic. I just don't know. Like I said, like I think that Saskatchewan's too good for that to happen. But I think it's definitely realistic, more so with Trevor's injury history. Like
Yes.
last year, it was what, or 2 years ago, sorry, it was what, week 4, week 5 that he broke his leg, was out the rest of the year. Last year was like a similar timeline where he hurt himself again, was out 6-7 games, which, like, I don't think it was any coincidence, but last year that's when the Riders went on their slide. So I think it's definitely realistic that Jake Mayer is the starter in that Week 11 game, but I think it's more realistic that it's because of injury and it's not because of either team performance or Trevor Harris' performance.
That's fair. That's also, very possible with how his luck has gone. So, but I got one more before we go, and this might be crazy. Cody Fajardo starts by week 7 for Edmonton. I'm putting it that I think they have to have the leash on Trey Ford is 3 feet long. It's playoffs or bust for Edmonton this year.
Yep.
If you are not in a winning position by week 7 or 8, you have to move. You have to put in Fajardo. Like, I don't think you don't have you don't have a season. You can't waste this season. You've went out and spent all this money. You got to put in Fajardo if you have a losing record by week 7 or 8.
No, and the thing with that, Shane, is if it's week 7 or 8, you have enough time to turn it around and make playoffs. But if it's week 14 or 15, you're playing catch up and you might simply run out of time.
Exactly. And week 8 or week 7, they have a bye. So if you're 2-4 or 1-5 heading into that bye week, I think you have to make a change because you're going out the week after and playing, like, you're playing Saskatchewan in week 8. So you have to make a change by that bye week if you have a losing record. So that's my hot take in Edmonton, is that Trey Ford has 6 weeks to produce a 500-plus record where Cody Fajardo starts.
Yep.
I think, yeah.
I mean, I want Trey to do well. Like, I want him to be the starter in Edmonton, but I agree with Shane. Like, it's like Edmonton can't afford any more down years. Like, they've lost so many fans and stuff like that. They've made the decision to cordon off the upper deck because they weren't getting enough fans to fill it. Like, they cannot survive another, and I don't mean that like in the literal sense where like they're going to lose the team or anything like that, but from a fan standpoint, they cannot survive another losing season.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my hot take to end it off. And hopefully some of these don't come true, because that means that some fan bases are going to be very, very upset with how their early season has gone. Because I think we've had three hot takes where it's all been, if your team sucks, this is what's going to happen. I don't think we've had one where we're like, oh yeah, this team's going to do really well. It's going to surprise people. It's all been like, your team sucks. It's going to be a quarterback change. Watch out. But honestly, I think this is a really good first episode back into the groove of things.
Yeah, no.
first preseason game next week, so we'll have some actual CFL football to talk about for the first time in 7 months. So I'm excited for that. Before you guys go, Coach Phil, before what have you got planned for the group, or like planned for this year or the next month?
We're gonna do
where to find you.
We're gonna do the damn thing. We're gonna be reacting. We're gonna travel. We're gonna have some fun this year. So find me on YouTube, Coach Phil at Coach Phil Reacts. Find me on IG, Coach Phil 425. And let's have a fun season this year, y'all. Let's have fun.
Yeah, no, I'll just piggyback on that. I will be traveling as well this year. Shane, I'm trying to do a double header a little later in the summer, early fall. I'm trying to go to Ottawa for my birthday, the Lions and the Red Blacks, and then I'm trying to hit up the Banjo Bowl, but I'm sure I'll hit up some other games during the season there, head out to Edmonton, probably travel to Saskatchewan, stuff like that. And then, of course, we got this going, and Cole and I will, of course, have the pre and post game shows as much as possible. So it's going to be a fun season. It was a long off season, and especially with how things went a lot better during the winter over in Ottawa there, especially with everything that happened here in Vancouver during the hockey season. I'm so ready for football. Like I'm ready to just like get rid of the drama and just let me watch football, man.
There you go.
I'm ready for the nice weather, some good football, and some fun times with you guys. And hopefully Cole can join us next weekend and his mom doesn't steal him away from some errands. But yeah, I mean, this was fun. It was a nice first episode. If you guys like it, remember to subscribe, like, share the video. This will be coming out on podcast form this year.
Ooh.
So on top of the YouTube videos, which we should be still doing Wednesday nights. Like last year, it should still be the plan heading forward. Will be Wednesday nights.
I think very quickly, Shane, I think that's like the perfect night for us too, because I know like a lot of friends of ours and stuff like that, they have their own nights, but like Wednesdays, and they're not doing as much of it this year, but like especially in the summer, Wednesdays is right before the week starts, because usually last year it was Thursday to Sunday were games, so we were able to recap the week before while also previewing the next week.
Exactly. So we'll be here on Wednesdays. The podcast will drop Thursday midday, Thursday afternoon. Episode should be around 2 hours long, if based off last year. So get ready for some high-flying CFL entertainment, especially once the season gets going, because Coach and I kind of jab at each other quite often. A lot of fun.
Always.
We'll be doing our picks this year, and if I remember correctly, Blake won last year. Coach came in. To be fair, Coach came in like 4 or 5 weeks late.
But he still wouldn't have caught me.
I don't think he would have caught anyone.
I was down. I was in the dungeon.
You was like what? You were like what? 1-11 your first 3 weeks on the show last
Something
year. So
like that. It was bad. He wasn't even picking his own team.
No, but hey, he turned it around the set like after Labor Day. He kind of went on a heater.
I mean, like low key, Coach did.
He did. Like I think every week he had a winning record from Labor Day on. So, maybe you bring in that magic again to start the year, and you're not catching.
We gonna see. We gonna see.
So yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Blake went first, Cole went second. You guys were what, a game apart?
One game apart.
It was close, yeah.
Yeah. I think we had it in the final week where you guys were like tied. I think you won on the last week. If I'm wrong, Cole will correct me. And then I came in third. So again, hope you guys enjoy and you're ready jumping on board for what a fun 2025 year we're gonna have. And it all kicks off now and continues next week with the first preseason game.
Let's get it.
2 weeks. Just correct you there. 19th, but
it's a Monday. The game's a Monday.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be on the next episode. God, Blake. Technicalities. Your BC is showing.
Whatever.
Hoity-toity BC. I'm better than everyone.
Dude, have you seen our housing crisis?
That's true.
Disgusting.
I mean, it's almost as bad as Ontario.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna be living here until I'm 40. So
Hey, gotta save. Hopefully, you're not paying too much in rent.
no comment.
That's fair. But then you got, but you know, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you here next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Awesome. That was great.
Are we still live?
Nope, I ended it.
Did you? It still says